Hello and welcome to Harvest Highlights. We've finally come to the end of our series.
And for most of you, harvest is over. We've spent the last 10 weeks keeping you up to date on harvest, so what better way to finish than to look at how Harvest 2013 has fared and pick out some of our favourite bits. I think a mixed bag is one of the best ways to probably describe it.
But one thing I think most people will agree on is the weather has made it for an easy harvest. Combines began rolling mid-July with winter barley. One of the earliest was Gloucestershire farmer Jeff Morgan, who managed to get underway amid the heat wave we saw at the start of summer. And then harvest really kicked off. We featured videos from every corner of the UK, and on the variety front all the usual suspects have been doing well, with the likes of Cassata, Flagon and Retriever. National average yield estimates have been between 6.7 and 6.9 tonnes to the hectare, and spring barley has performed relatively well, with plenty about. Prices have plummeted.
The next to get started was the oilseed rape. Now, we've seen a whole range of yields, with growers reporting over 4 tonnes a hectare to some struggling to get any crop at all. We've also been in the bizarre scenario of combining and drilling oilseed rape at the same time. The latest oilseed rape report from ADAS showed average yield estimates between 3.2 and 3.4 tonnes a hectare, with typical oil content between 42 and 46%. This was one of our favourites, sent in by John Hawthorne in Nottinghamshire. We've actually seen a few of his helicopter cameras and they really do make great footage. Mr Hawthorne saw a mix across his farm with some very patchy areas of oilseed rape. One of the last reports of the winter oilseed rape crop came in on Tuesday in Rutland, where Andrew Brown harvested his last 20 acres. Next season's crops are in the ground and getting away fairly well, so it looks promising for next year.
Then there was the wheat, which began at a similar time to the oilseed rape. The footage we received flooded in from all over the country, with some mixed stories on how growers were getting on. Now last year we saw some really awful samples of wheat, but this year it's been a bit different. Although yields have been below average, quality has generally looked fairly good. Current national average yields have been between 7.6 and 7.7 tonnes to the hectare. Specific weights have been around 76 to 78, and Hagberg falling numbers for Group 1s have been good at around 347 seconds, whilst protein has averaged 12.9%, but this has been variable. Our favourite had to be the UK record, achieving a massive 14.31 tonnes to the hectare off 8.95 hectares of KWS Kielder. Tim Lammyman, who farms in Lincolnshire, managed to beat the previous record by just 0.01 tonnes to the hectare.
Now, we haven't just reported on the usual combinable crops, we've dipped in and out of the potato harvest that is still ongoing. Potato Council reports that over 24,000 hectares of a GB crop has now been cleared, which is 3,000 hectares less than the same point last year. As with combinable crops, potato yield reports have been variable so far, but in general have been described as average in most potato growing regions.
And finally, from a unique way of stacking bales to garlic harvesting, we've seen some interesting things this harvest, but our favourite has to be this. Combine fighting is yet to catch on in this country, but who knows, maybe in the next few years.
Okay, that's it for another year. It's been a harvest that's hit every possible emotion, but now it's on to the next one. Drilling is well underway and attention is now turning to making Harvest 2014 a good one, so hopefully we'll see you again next year.